we're nearing the midpoint of the season. I mean, the trade deadline is a week from this coming Tuesday. And, rubber's meeting road. You can kind of tell which teams are which in the NFL. So we've come up with a new segment within our segment, Chris.
Inception.
Here we go. It's called just exactly like Inception. It's very, very Christopher Nolan. Here we go. It's called Chris Long's Levels of Concern.
All right, move on. Nothing to see here. Please, it's Chris.
It's Chris Long's Level of Concern.
There you go. Very good. I like the Naked Gun. That was that was Naked Gun at the top.
Tremendous.
Excellent drop. All right, Chris. Now we got to come through. Your level of concern for the Buffalo Bills now is what?
My level of concern for the Buffalo Bills is like orange. Okay, like, if we went off like the Tom Herman piss chart where, like it's brown at the bottom, you're dehydrated, you're a bad teammate.
Yes.
They're in the orange zone. Like they've passed the yellow zone, which is the middle.
Yes.
They're in the orange zone where I'm a little bit concerned about them. And a lot of it is because you got problems on both sides of the ball. Like you look at the Eagles right now, you kind of know, hey, the offense, it's sputtered at times relative to expectation, but they're scoring like 30 points a game. Okay. The Bills have been in repeat spots where they let an inferior team, and I want to give the Pats credit because I put something up on YouTube last night and it kind of centered around the Bills, and Pats fans are like, wait, we're the center of attention. Not when you're 2-5. Okay. Like it's about the team with Super Bowl aspirations that lost that game to a team that has trailed by 10 points or more in the first half 5 of 6 games. And they flipped that script. And, I think the biggest cardinal sin for me as a defense is 2-minute drives at the end of the game. You Tyrod Taylor go and basically win the game if it's not for a no call. And then last week, I think they need a number 2. I think their passing game is deep or it's quick and there's no intermediate stuff. I have a lot of concern about them, but it starts with the injuries on defense. Games like this, you need your defense.
And your level of concern for the aforementioned Dolphins now? Do you have any?
There's no concern. I don't have concern. Like for me to be concerned about the Dolphins, I would have to be surprised. Like I think they're an elite football team and that they're going to be in the playoffs. They can win a playoff game. But when you talk about winning 3 playoff games in a row or 4 playoff games in a row, how do you figure you're going to do that when you're 0-6 against playoff teams since last September when you beat the Ravens and the Bills? And I think what's even more concerning for the Dolphins is every time they get in a primetime spot, 15 points against the Bengals, 17 points against the Chargers. You can count the 425 last year against San Francisco, 16, 17 points there. They're 10 points offensively last night. They turn into a different team in these big spots, and I'm just calling it how I see it. So if you have Super Bowl aspirations for them, I would be concerned about how they play against top talent. But they're going to play themselves into the playoffs, and then they have to go do this thing that they haven't been able to do. So I would say medium, yellow.
So what would if you're the Dolphins do? Because clearly now you've lost to 2 physical front sevens and 1 in division, 1 out of conference. What do you do?
The reason I'm not orange on the Dolphins, Rich, is because they're going to get Xavier Howard back. They're going to get Jalen Ramsey back. I thought the defense played really well last night in spots, although in some spots they couldn't get off the field. I think for this team to be healthy, to be rolling, if they can get some guys back up front, they're dangerous. They're really dangerous, but they've yet to beat an actual playoff team in about a calendar year.
All right, Chris Long in the middle of the very first. By the way, I think this is going to stick. This is the pilot episode of Chris Long's Level of Concerns. So the level of concern for the Lions after getting absolutely eviscerated in Baltimore. Do you have one for the Lions, Chris?
Yellow, again, it's a team. I would put them in the Dolphins class, although they've actually passed some of their tests against good teams. They were playing left-handed, right? They're playing outside, which is not where they want to be. I said this on my show last week.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to win playoff games, they've got to host them. In January, in January with Jared Goff outside. Yesterday was like a little preview of some elements that wouldn't be exactly perfect. I mean, a gust of 13, 15 miles an hour. You're playing left-handed without a running back, and more than anything, if you can't get pass rush, I thought the Ravens played lights out, and Lamar looked terrific. So I think this is a stinker for them. But again, I don't think this means they can't go where they were trying to go before. They're going to have games like this because they're not built to play from behind. I would put the panic meter at yellow for them. They have a soft schedule the rest of the way. Keep winning games. Buy yourself a home game in the playoffs if you can.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.